All right. Today we're going to have a live with Dr. Tina. Um, and as soon as hey, hello.
Hey, how are
Hey,
ya?
Dr. Tina, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
I'm so glad to
Thank
be
you.
talking to you.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much for the time. And I'm really excited. I think we can share a lot of good information right now for the people who's going to be joining us, which they are kind of joining.
Yeah,
So I don't want to take too much of your time, but I think if you can just kind of give a background, at least on my follower, and maybe they don't know you. And then
sure.
from there, I kind of want to go to a general information about what we're going to talk today. Please,
Okay,
stage is yours.
thanks. So I am a naturopathic physician and a chiropractor, and I have been in practice since 2008. Recently closed my practice, actually. I specialized in regenerative injection therapies, so orthopedics, using natural substances like prolotherapy, PRP, stem cells. I also, as a naturopathic physician, first and foremost, we have to optimize the patient's terrain so that they could receive the injections or so that they could just heal in general. I have a long background in treating autoimmune patients and bioidentical hormone replacement. And I am a total fanatic about strength training and the benefits of muscle. So that's that's where I think, and
That's a good part. I
in
like that.
relationship to rehab and resiliency, and like I train for life, not for aesthetics. So
That's
yeah,
awesome. Sweet, nice. Actually, what I like that you mentioned about the autoimmune system, I think there are many areas on that. It's at least for me, it's a little bit more dark. And what I really love about you is whatever you post. As I always say, you do your homework. Like you just don't go on a Google, do like a regular search and find the first result on a Google, and then just copy and paste. Like what I enjoy when you post something, you really dig down, you go on the peer reviews and like read and then find what like make more sense and or a common sense or what it's supposed to look like as a research, and you post that, and that's what really makes me always go to your page and read what you're posting. So which one you feel more comfortable? Are you want to go more towards the immune system area, since these days with this corona stuff that goes around, maybe people be more interested about that area? Because some
sure.
people, for me, I'm still on that. For me, like based on my what I studied, what I learned, I think it's a wrong term that goes out there. They tell like a boost your immune system,
Mm-hmm.
which not sure like you can boost it, but you can improve it. I think these two words going in the wrong direction. So if you go through that as of the immune system and maybe connect that to the other subjects that we want to talk about, so that'll be great.
Sure, sure. So, um, somebody just asked,
Yeah, you
you
close
closed
your.
your practice, but you still see patients. I don't still see patients. I haven't been seeing patients for about a year or more. I, and just to back up, as a naturopathic physician, most of what you see me post, we know in naturopathic medicine to be true. I'm finding those references just to appease the masses. Like I pull the studies up. I mean, it's, we knew this stuff decades ago, even before science proved it. But now, fortunately, science is proving what we know in naturopathic and functional and you know, um, just holistic medicine to be true. So it's fun, but also it's like, it's kind of duh, because a lot of it's common sense, right?
Right.
Like a lot of it to people who are thinkers and who, especially those, where are you from? Where's your accent from?
So I'm originally Armenian, but I born and raised in Iran. So
Oh, okay.
yesterday, actually no, 2 days ago was officially 10 years being in US. So I
That's
got my
awesome.
citizenship about 5 years ago. So yeah, I'm a proud US citizen. So yeah, that's where my accent come from.
That's awesome.
Damn
Well,
it, I thought I don't have an accent.
I do find that, well, you keep your accent, don't get rid of that. I do find that people from other countries often really do embrace common sense a lot more than we do here in the US. Like, the closer people are to herbal medicine and to family medicine and traditional medicine that's been passed down through their relatives, like the more they get it. But your immune system basically in a nutshell, it needs to be resilient in order to fight anything that comes through. And so this virus, people seem to believe that if we stay in quarantine and we stay locked down, that they won't get it. And the misunderstanding there is that they only put us into quarantine and locked us down so that it would slow down the infection rate so that the hospital system wouldn't be overwhelmed. It's not going to go away. In fact, it is now endemic, meaning it is worldwide. It's not like SARS-1 or MERS that came out of a small area and got squelched. It's now all over the world. So we're going to be dealing with this virus forever. There's going to be flu season and corona season now. It's not going to stay the same virus, just like the flu virus. Remember when H1N1 came out, it was, devastating. And now when that strain comes out, it's a lot more friendly and flexible because it's been through a lot more immune systems. So we're all going to have to be exposed to this virus. And the more immune systems that it gets to go, human immune systems that it gets to see and adapt to, the more gentle it should get. It should mutate into something a little more gentle because it uses our own cell envelope to make its envelope. It's not a cell. It's not even alive. To make its envelope. And with that comes a little more familiarity to the human immune system. So that's really what we're dealing with. And so, what I talk about, and I know you talk about this too, is like we have to become more resilient. We have to take better care of ourselves because there is no one's coming to save us. And that's what the media won't tell us. And there has never been a successful vaccine to this family of virus ever. So and safe vaccines that don't cause terrible problems later on, take years to develop. So in the meantime, we as a species just need to become as resilient as we can because we will encounter this virus and our immune systems will have to deal with it at some point.
Right. Actually, you mentioned a good point because more you get stronger physically, and that's automatically it's going to make make your body resilient towards everything. Not even a flu, but even the regular cold. If you eat right, if you sleep well, you exercise, you have a manageable stress, so you can manage your stress. I think your hormones going to be all level, and in that case, it's really. It's going to be hard for you to get sick. I'm talking about my end. Not that I'm not getting catching cold, but for past 6-7 years that I start a little bit more focusing on my sleep sucks. So I it's getting better, but usually it sucks just because of the work and the school and stuff. But I started using essential oils, and I was a little bit guard up at the beginning, and I'm like, oh, come on, really? But then I start it works. Shit works. So, and if it works, so why I have to stop? And all these connections end up now. I'm getting my doctorate in acupuncture. So still there's a road to finish it, but now I'm learning more about herbs and how herbs can totally change everything. So it's pretty interesting that you can see when we're talking about boosting the immune system, it's basically you can improve your immune system. But I think boost is one of those sexy words that you can sell a product. So drink this, your immune system is boosted, you're not going to get sick. So question.
I agree.
When you mentioned everybody going to end up getting it, is that going to be on a different level just because, for example, you do you do the right things, meaning you do the workout, you eat well, you sleep well, you have manageable stress, all those stuff. If I end up getting the corona, does that mean my level is going to be lighter to the obese person? Maybe mine is going to be showing on a very light symptoms, and I'm not going to end up having that 14 days chaos? Or no, doesn't matter. You can be the Superman, and as when you get it, you're gonna have that breakdown, and you're gonna be all on the bed, and yada yada yada.
No, so it's a very infectious virus. I was just talking to Dr. Heather Modet, who's the Immunity MD. She's on here, and you should check her out on Instagram. She and I were talking about this. She's an immunologist, and she said this is a very infectious virus, but that doesn't mean it's going to make everybody sick. So just because your body gets exposed to something and just, you might just burn through it and not even notice and not even have a symptom, not even a cough or a sniffle or even feel tired. Or maybe you get a little headache and you're like, oh, I feel headachy for a few days, and then it's gone. Or maybe you get some diarrhea for a few days. We've all had that happen where we get a little something and then we just kind of power through. That's that's the infectivity of it. So it's very infectious, but I think what the public, and this is a great question you asked, because I think the public misunderstands that to mean if I get infected, I'm going to become deathly ill. Those are two very separate things. And getting very ill from it has really, it's if you really go through and look at each state and look at their statistics, for the most part, healthy individuals, and they say healthy, but you know as well as I do that someone with really poor body composition who's very thin, you know, that's not a great place to be either. That's a pretty devastating place to be health-wise too. So just because someone looks thin and so they assume they're healthy, I don't know about that. But generally speaking, those who are healthy are ending up in the hospital, like 6 to 10% of them. It's a pretty low rate. Like most people are getting it and just burning through it and recovering from it. Or if they do get sick, they recover really well. So, you know, and some people do get very sick. Some people get lots of lung issues. Some people, you know, some people are more like my system. I'm prone to pneumonia. That's just the way I've always been. So if walking pneumonia comes on through, I might be literally 1 minute I'm fine, I'm training, I'm doing great, and the next day I'm down and I have pneumonia, and it's that fast. So we can't say with certainty how anyone's going to react. But for the most part, I don't think this is the deadliest virus. It's highly infectious.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense, because I think I saw a post a couple of days ago. Someone was apologizing based on like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like it's people are treating. I think media is showing like it's like you have an HIV, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So and then like now people like I saw a post somewhere. I don't remember where it was. Like either Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. I don't remember. But someone like accidentally like I didn't know I have it, and then I gave it to someone else, and they were apologizing. Like for me, it's a little bit funny. Like who like I never apologize for someone I'm sick. I don't know like I'm sick. I'm maybe like I feel a little bit on my throat, on my nose. But who's apologizing to like catching a cold? Like now people are like overreacting a little bit, and I think that's turned to society or communities or all these areas that you see people are a little bit more scared. Someone just asked about that she was very healthy and lifting weights and stuff. I think that area is a little bit more kind of a discussion because some of my clients or even friends, they always say like, oh, I'm eating healthy. But when you look at them, what they're eating, they're not eating healthy. Like adding like more vegetables doesn't mean you're eating healthy. Just cutting carbs doesn't mean you're eating healthy. So I think there's areas on that case of like maybe nutrition part. What are your thoughts about the nutrition? What do you suggest, or do you have any idea about that nutrition that keeps you really resilient? Like, do you follow any specific diet or something?
I don't follow a specific diet. I've done all the diets. I really find that because I strength train regularly, I definitely can eat more carbohydrate than I could before. I firmly believe that if you do not have a significant amount of muscle mass on your body, you're not actually healthy. I firmly believe that, and it's not to disrespect anyone. It's just, it is literally that critical. I just did a podcast on it that's up, and I'm going to launch on Instagram all about how muscle is medicine. So it's an organ system, and we need it. It is critical for our well-being and to keep us anti-inflamed. I think that people eating, now I'm not anti-vegetarian or anti-vegan. However, I do best with meat, animal protein. We need animal protein to make our immune cells, I believe. People can disagree with me. That is okay. Show me the studies, but I have treated a lot of vegetarians and vegans who were quite sickly. I also have a handful is all of friends who are, stout vegetarians and vegans, and they are very, very healthy, but they're hyper aware of the food they're putting in their mouth. They're very careful about their food combining, and it's much more than just a passing thought. It's very purposeful. So that's kind of that. I do believe in eating a ton of micronutrients and getting, as many vegetables as we can in our bodies, period. But we also want to be able to get in adequate protein. I suggest, especially for those strength training, at least a gram per pound of body weight. So for me, that would be about, I try to shoot for like 120 grams. I barely hit that mark. I probably am below it painfully most times. Yeah, the other thing about protein malnourishment, and a post I'm going to do, is that if we look at, we don't have to be a third world country for this to be true, but in many third world countries and places where animal protein is not plentiful, many people suffer from terrible gastrointestinal problems. And when your gut is inflamed, that's kind of the beginning of a lot of problems. So protein malnourishment will cause devastation to the gut and will cause a lot of inflammation in the gut. So there's that piece too. And then healthy fats are critical, and not just plant-based fats. Like, I'm a big fan of healthy animal fats as well. So that's for me. That's not for everyone, but I do think I spent my life with a lot of autoimmune issues and a really compromised immune system for most of my life, and that's how I got out of it, was just being very purposeful about eating crazy well. Like, that's where the bulk of my budget goes. My boyfriend, I moved into his house and he's like, man, I've never spent so much on groceries. And I'm like, yeah, but you just told me you've never felt better and you haven't looked this good in 20 years. So, like, what do you want?
Yeah, true. It's give and take. Yeah, I truly believe, and portion of that, I think people, they still have a misunderstanding about strength training, because unfortunately what goes right now, especially when the pandemic starts, like, we have right now a lot of fitness influencers everywhere, and they're becoming like with their workout or whatever. So probably it's going to work for someone, but when we're talking about the legit strength training, you have to learn how to lift heavy. I posted a story, a little bit nasty story yesterday, that lifting a bottle of wine or water, or 2.5 pound dumbbell, or even 5 pound dumbbell, that's not a strength training. Especially if you're using bottle of wine, just order some mini bands and then focus on isometric kind of a training. Unless and it's cheaper than a bottle of wine, unless you're drinking shitty wine. But in general, when we're talking about strength training, you need to learn how to lift heavy. I have like patients over 60 that they're lift heavy, and they're in shape. They're not bulky. They're fit. They're in shape, and they're just doing the right thing. If you do the right protocol, you learn how to lift heavy, and that's how make the muscle resilient. You're strong. And when your body is strong, you're automatically, your immune system's like, oh, tell me how you can get something when you're strong. You're unbreakable. So, and then most of this comes from, like, either you don't pay attention on some pre-injuries that you have. So before you fix that injury, you try to do something else, and you're making that injury worse, and then end up not lifting heavy. Why you can't lift heavy? I have a back issue. When? Oh, it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
So you're screwing up for the past 10 years rather than fixing that back first and then start learning how to lift heavy. And the beauty of it is just you keep getting stronger, and I don't see anything wrong over there. So, like, in my end, I personally, I lift heavy every day except Sundays sometimes, and I eat mostly meat. Like, my red meat, but I love red meat. I eat red meat probably 5 to 6 times a week, and either one portion a day or sometimes two, depends on the day. But I don't see any, like, health issues for me, at least on my end, in my age. And even though I born with a pigeon toe, so physically I had like a disability on my ankles. I got surgeries when I was 4 months old, and below my knee was always a challenge for me. So ankle pain is a part of my life. And when 3 years ago I had a motorcycle accident, I had extra pain for my ankle pain. So it's just, now I have to manage that. But if I don't eat what I'm eating, and if I don't train what I'm training, that's gonna get worse. It's not gonna get better. It's gonna get worse. So
I agree.
Perfect. So what do you?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I'm training for my SFG1, and my hip. Yeah, I was supposed to test in April, and then this happened. So, and I dieted down. I hate to say this, but I did not want to test at a 16 kilo snatch test, because I'm petite, and I'm not, like, I didn't want to rip up my shoulders, so I could do it at a 12, and I'm 46, like, and I'm running a busy business, and I'm like, okay, I can do this, and I got myself down to 130 so I could test at the 12 kilo, and then it didn't happen, and now I'm back up to like 138. I'm like, damn it, I have to do this again. But my hip has been giving me problems, and it's a long-standing issue, and I wasn't treating it. I wasn't going to the chiropractor, and I wasn't getting it handled, and I wasn't getting acupuncture or Prolo or anything. And it really started barking at me recently, and my boyfriend was like, I don't want you to ruin your hips permanently over this stupid certification. And I was like, it is not a stupid certification. it's super important to me. It's been super important to me for
Right.
years. It means something. It means that like that's really hard to get. And secondly, it's not just the training. And in fact, my coach was like, has he seen you when you can't train? Because that's really when you hurt. Like, that's really when you're like, mentally, I'm a
Right.
mess. Physically, I become a mess. So training is like a no, there's no compromise on that. Like, that's,
Absolutely.
I will give up everything to be able to train besides my diet
Yeah,
and my sleep. So,
that's very important. It's essential. Where are you located?
yeah. Oh, you
Where
froze.
are you
Hold on a
located?
sec. Where am I located?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in I was living in Portland, Oregon, but now I'm living about an hour and a half from there on a farm. So I'm living on a big
Oh,
organic. It's awesome. They're
that's beautiful.
yeah, they're doing the hay today. They're like clearing the clover with tractors and baling it. I'm like, this is new.
That's
They
cool.
all
That's
look
awesome.
they look very healthy and very strong. I will say that. Like it's like strong boys out there doing manual labor. So
So if you want to give an advice as a professional advice to people in this situation right now, as of like a slightly kind of, especially people if they are prone to get sick or prone to kind of have a more panic about everything and like OCD about keeping everything clean. But if you want to give them an overall advice as of like, okay, these are the easy steps that you can do that it's not expensive and you can improve your immune system. What are your advices?
well, first, I want to just explain that it's not about the germ or the bacteria or the virus that's going to potentially infect you. It's about your terrain being resilient enough to handle anything that comes at it. So that's where my mindset is, and that's where I come from. Yeah, the germ matters, but it doesn't matter as much as we've been led to. My battery went low. Sorry. On that regard, I think sleep is king. Sleep is critical. So I'm gonna harp on you to get your sleep in line because it is.
Yeah, I'm much better now. I'm much better now.
Yeah, it is not negotiable, and most of us need a lot more sleep than we think. And I think sleeping on a rhythm, on a schedule, if one can, is probably more important than how much sleep you get. Secondly, making sure you eat adequately to support whatever your activity level is, and not under eating, because that is a terrible place to be for your immune system. Overeating just can lead to fat accumulation, and that, if you're really strong and you have a nice thick layer of muscle underneath, probably not the worst thing. But if you have a lot of fat and you don't have any muscle, then you're in trouble, because fat is really just a suit of inflammation if it's the wrong kind of fat. And then lastly, I would say, obviously, train for strength, train for life, train to be a warrior. Like, I think I was a warrior in a past life. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm very sure somewhere I was a warrior, and if I don't train like a warrior, I'm miserable and I don't want to do the exercise. So like, things like running didn't suit me. Pilates is nice, but like, I need to be swinging heavy shit and like yelling to really, I need to train hard for me. And I think that most people, especially women, have no idea how strong they are. They have no idea what their body is
Yeah,
capable of. And when you really start to
capable of.
see, men too, when you really start to see what you're capable of, you're like, wow. And that translates into everything you do. And when you train for muscle and strength, you automatically drink more water. You automatically eat better. You automatically make better decisions. You're calmer. You don't engage in stress and nonsense because you feel more zen-like. You sleep better. You have better sex. Like, all the things line up when you prioritize
I
that.
agree.
So that's my advice.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a tricky question. When you
Okay.
say you swing and you yell, I want to know what kind of music you listen.
Well, my coach is adamant that I learn to train. Her name is Mira Gracia. I don't know if you know her. She's like SFG too, and the high level up there. She's adamant that I learn to train without music because or music I
Okay.
hate, because she thinks the mental component for me. But if I had my own, left to my own devices, I would listen to Tool, I would listen to Metallica, I would listen to like anything
Right.
loud and aggressive. That makes me, I am significantly stronger when Tool comes on. Like, it's
Okay.
just,
Good answer.
I'm.
Very good answer.
Yeah, funny thing is, the night that the World Health Organization declared a pandemic, I went and saw Tool in Portland, and it was the last night of their. It was yeah, it was crazy because I'd been listening to them sing about the end of the world since I was a teenager, and then there we were all together in this arena. Everybody was super scared, but the whole arena was packed. And I know we probably spread some virus around, but it was worth it. So, yeah.
I'm missing 3 concerts this year because of the pandemic. I had the tickets for Rammstein, Judas Priest, and Motley Crue, but they're all postponed for next. So we'll
I
see.
had
If
tickets.
no one,
I had tickets for. We had tickets to see Black Flag. We had tickets to see Ministry, and one other, and they all got. New Order and Pet Shop Boys. They all got postponed. I was devastated. So I'm with you.
sorry. Well, thank you so much for your time. More power and strength to you, and I hope you keep studying and practicing your kettlebell skills for your SFG1. But SFG2 is a little bit tougher as a feedback, but you start and then you get there anytime soon. If you have any questions, you know how to find me. But really, really, I appreciate your time. This means a lot.
Oh, thank you.
If you have any final words for our viewers, if not, I'll let you go.
Yeah, last thing I'll say actually, get out in the sun as much as you can and do it safely. But getting adequate vitamin D is going to be a real winner for everybody in the battle against any kind of immune issue. So, yeah, thank you so much. This was so fun. I'm so happy to connect with you.
Thank you. Yeah, we should do this again at some point.
Oh, yeah, come on my show too.
Awesome.
Okay,
Of course,
bye.
absolutely.
See you later.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too.